to the public library. My name is Joe. I work here at the circulation desk. This is one of my favorite authors. This is Barry Lopez, and he just died on Christmas Day of 2020. Barry Lopez was a very well-known author. He mostly is famous for his nonfiction, but he also wrote very ethereal, kind of strange, place-based, really excellent short stories as well. This is one of his earlier ones. This was a National Book Award finalist, Of Wolves and Men, and won several others awards. John Burroughs Award, Christopher Medal, Pacific Northwest Booksellers Award, all that. Famous book. This is Arctic Dreams. This is a National Book Award winner about several years that he spent in the Arctic traveling around and writing and exploring and talking to many, many different people all over. Also right here on the shelf we have some of his, I highly recommend if you're curious about Barry Lopez and you want to get started reading some of his stuff, to start with some of his short stories and essays, because his nonfiction books, while they are phenomenal, they are very dense and very large typically, so sometimes people find them hard to get into, so I would highly recommend starting with one of his essay collections. We also have About This Life, which is currently checked out. Highly recommend that one. This one as well, Crossing Open Ground, different years, 78 through 88. And this has The Passing Wisdom of Birds, which is about Cortez in Mexico City, which is phenomenal, and also one of my favorite essays that I've ever read of the natural world, and it's called A Presentation of Whales, which is about a 1979 when dozens of humpback whales beached themselves on the beach in Oregon. I've really never read anything quite like it, as well as many other essays in there. Barry Lopez typically focused on the natural world and about our place in the natural world, and several other things like that. He also wrote a really interesting book called Home Ground, which I don't believe we have in the library, but it's set up almost as a dictionary where each entry is a word that is about, it describes a type of environment or a specific thing found in the local environment, and it's usually either some sort of indigenous word or some sort of local word, and then instead of having a typical dictionary definition, he actually anthologized authors from all over the country. He focuses on North America, but authors to write little mini essay definitions for their particular relationship to that particular part of that particular environment. It's a really, really interesting experiment. Highly recommend it if you can find a copy of that too. That's Home Ground. So this is a little excerpt from Arctic Dreams, the 1986 National Book Award winner, and this is from a chapter called Ice and Light. The monotonic surfaces of the Arctic create frequent problems with scale and depth perception, especially on overcast days. Arctic hare and willow ptarmigan sometimes disappear against the snow when they're only 2 or 3 yards away. Even when a contrasting animal like a caribou or brown bear is visible on the snow or ice, it's sometimes hard to determine whether it's a large animal at a distance or a small animal at close range. In My Life with the Eskimos, Stephenson recalls spending an hour stalking a tundra grizzly that turned out only to be a marmot. A Swedish explorer had all but completed a written description in his notebook of a craggy headland with 2 unusually symmetrical glacial valleys, and the whole of it was part of a large island when he discovered that what he was looking at was a walrus. Johan Mertsching, traveling with McClure aboard the Investigator, wrote of a polar bear that rose up in the air and flew off as the hunting party approached, a snowy owl. These comic deceptions, wrote Mertsching, are a frequent occurrence. The whiteout is another familiar deceptive phenomenon. It commonly occurs under an overcast sky or in a fog bank, when the light traveling in one direction at a certain angle has the same flux or strength as light traveling at any angle in any other direction. There are no shadows. Space has no depth. There is no horizon. On foot you stumble about in mist stair-step fashion. On fast-moving snow machine, your heart nearly stops when the bottom of the world disappears. So yeah, Barry Lopez. Check him out at the Haynes Public Library.